My name is Simon Hofmann, and I'm a product manager for SAP Cloud Platform. In this session today, I will tell you about SAP's Industry Cloud and give you a first overview of how Industry Cloud solutions can be built on SAP Cloud Platform. Please keep in mind that given the fact that Industry Cloud was announced this year, that the definitions and recommendations mentioned in this session are subject to change. So I will start first with an introduction where I will talk a little bit about Industry Cloud as a whole, its motivation, and also what defines an Industry Cloud solution. Then I will take a first bird's-eye view of how an Industry Cloud solution should look like. So we will look at the cloud architecture and also recommendations. And finally, I will tell you about a new guide for you that shines in more light how to build Industry Cloud solutions. So let's get started. First, let's talk about what Industry Cloud really is. Our intelligence suite and business networks are a great foundation. They support integrated end-to-end processes for all industries and offer an unparalleled scope of functionality. The concept of an integrated suite always wins, as long as the speed of innovation is compatible with the need for innovation. But the demands for software have been changing recently. Digital technologies, regulations, crisis, market entrants, and data-driven business models disrupt carefully balanced supply networks, dissolve whole markets, and impact opportunities so fast that large-scale enterprise systems are challenged to keep pace. Industry Cloud is our strategy to extend the intelligence suite with innovative Industry Cloud solutions, built by SAP and our partners in the cloud, and using products of the Business Technology Platform. To be specific, Industry Cloud solutions are based on SAP Cloud Platform and run on the cloud infrastructure of our infrastructure partners. The result is an open business and technology platform that is able to support applications serving the customer's core business in their respective industries. So before we talk about building Industry Cloud solutions, I think it's important to understand why moving to Industry Cloud solutions to the cloud actually benefit our partners as well as our customers. So first of all, when building an Industry Cloud solution, you want to meet the demands of your customers. This includes incremental iterative updates that are shipped easily so that you can always meet the changing requirements of your customers and can ship out new functionality very fast and in an easy style fashion. Also, we want to have a scalable and elastic solution that can handle high load, but at the same time can also run cost effectively, so that it really doesn't matter if you have only one customer or 1,000 customers using a cloud solution. It should always be scalable, performant, and also give or have the necessary resources available that are necessary to serve the requests of your customer. You might also want to increase the number of customers by offering attractive pricing models, such as pay-as-you-use. And something I think that gets mentioned too less is that our customers increasingly want to use their software also outside the corporate network. So everywhere, even on the go. And by moving to the cloud, you have VPN-less access and your customers can access your Industry Cloud solution from anywhere. But it's not only about the customers, it's also about you developing the Industry Cloud solution. You want to simplify and accelerate your development. This means you want to build solutions more rapidly and agilely, that you can react to the changing requirements of your customers and can ship out all the functionality they need as fast as possible. And by you going to the cloud, you can also focus more on building your solution. So things that you had to take care of in the past, like the infrastructure or software maintenance, like operating system updates, you don't have to take care of this anymore when you run on a platform as a service environment. And you can really focus on writing your business functionality. And by using SAP Cloud Platform, you can benefit from our cloud services and reuse existing well-tested functionality. SAP Cloud Platform has a large variety of technical but also business-specific services that you can use to speed up your development and also increase the quality of your application. And last but not least, you can pick the cloud infrastructure of your choice. So it doesn't matter if you want to run on AWS, on Azure, or on other cloud providers, thanks to the SAP's multi-cloud foundation. So now, when we think about building industry-specific business functionality in the cloud, we need to first take a look how an SAP Industry Cloud solution is actually defined. An industry cloud solution from SAP is either built on or integrated through SAP Cloud Platform. It solves a specific business problem of one or more industries, either as an extension of an end-to-end process of the intelligence suite, or as a completely new self-contained process. It can be seamlessly integrated into the existing SAP software landscape of the customer. And this is very crucial, because if SAP and partners move more increasingly to the cloud and offer modular cloud solutions, it's important that they can be easily integrated across the whole portfolio. Your industry cloud solution should also use the business services provided by SAP Cloud Platform, as outlined before. And ideally, you follow a multi-tenancy architecture so that the industry cloud solution is offered as a true software as a service, so that the customer can really subscribe to that application. And I think it's also important to mention what an industry cloud solution not is. An industry cloud solution is not functionality directly inserted into an existing SAP product, such as S/4HANA. So this is important to realize, that when you build an industry cloud solution, it's really one or more applications running on their own. But of course, they can be integrated and connected to other systems and solutions of SAP. And an industry cloud solution is not an application deployed on premise. So, by introducing the industry cloud strategy, we commit and our partners commit to build industry cloud solutions completely 100% in the cloud. There's only one exception to this, the exception of edge computing. Here, some parts of the solution might need to run directly at the customer side, for example, directly in a factory, to control the machines or to be very close to the data. But in all other cases, industry solutions will be 100% built in the cloud in the future. So now that we know the industry cloud strategy, the definition of an industry cloud solution, and its benefits, let's take a closer look at industry cloud solutions from a technical point of view. As shown just now, an industry cloud solution ideally runs on SAP Cloud Platform. So you could say it's nothing else than an application running on Cloud Platform. And of course, offering functionality for a specific industry. But if we take a look into the future, we need to ensure that the customer has a consistent look and feel, a consistent quality, and an easy integration behavior across all SAP solutions. So, despite you're already capable of building industry solutions, it's important to define some guardrails how that solution should be built. Here are some key qualities. First of all, the solution should be subscription-based, as outlined before. So it's important that you have a multi-tenancy architecture and offer your software as a service, if technically and commercially possible. In that case, the application really runs on the partner's account and the customer just subscribes to the application, which makes it very easy for them. Secondly, the industry cloud solution should be integration ready. So the integration must be really seamless, or if manual steps are required, it should be very easy. The solution should also be elastic. So with elastic we mean the solution must be scalable, so that it really doesn't matter if you have 1 or 1,000 customers using the solution, or one customer using a low load, or one customer causing a high load. The application should always start more instances and provide the necessary resources that are required to serve all requests. It also needs to be resilient, that if, for example, you experience an unexpected load, that one customer is not impacted by another customer using the same solution. And of course, your solution needs to be performant. So this is especially important for the user experience of your customer. When they use your solution, it also should react fast to all the requests and actions that the customer is doing. And you need to prepare for the worst. So you need to make sure that the solution is also observable. This will really help you to better monitor your solution and to react if something's going not as planned. But the solution should also be efficient. So we talked about being elastic and starting more instances the more load an application or customers are causing. But it's also about scaling down again, because you need to make sure that the application only uses the resources it really needs and runs cost effective because of that. And if you look at the top layer of your solution, the user interface, it should be based on the SAP Fiori UX guidelines. If we go one layer down from the Industry Cloud solution to the runtime environment, SAP Cloud Platform lets you choose 3 different environments to develop your Industry Cloud solution on. The first environment is Cloud Foundry. This might be the environment most of our partners and customers are already familiar with. It offers a managed build-on approach, so you can really benefit from a high level of abstraction. This means you can just build and deploy application, and the environment takes care of a lot of things. We also have the Kyma environment. The Kyma environment was released this year. It also provides a build-on approach, but a so-called open build-on approach. So it focuses more on the deployment of containers and the management of those containers by using Kubernetes. This means Kyma gives you more control and flexibility, but of course you have also a little bit more responsibility. And last but not least, you can also use the SAP Cloud Platform ABAP environment to build your Industry Cloud solutions. This is especially interesting for partners who already have an industry solution. Many of those solutions are so far developed on-premise and by using the ABAP development language. In these cases, this environment can really help you to reduce the effort for transitioning existing ABAP solutions to the cloud and by continuing to using the ABAP development language. So you don't have to rewrite all your code. And on top of that, you can also make use of the RESTful Application Programming Model, short RAP. It's a programming model supported by a set of ABAP SDKs and ABAP language features, enabling ABAP application developers to efficiently build uniform cloud applications and services. It provides a clear path through the end-to-end development flow of an ABAP application, and you can make use of the core data services, short CDS, and build RESTful OData services. Now, I want to mention here, if you pick one particular environment, you can also use a combination. So let's say you pick the Kyma or ABAP environment. It is also possible to develop a small part functionality or microservice, let's say on the Cloud Foundry environment. So combination of the environments is also possible if you prefer that. Nevertheless, all 3 environments share some common attributes that can benefit you when building an Industry Cloud solution. First of all, you can build scalable multi-tenancy business applications, so really develop true software as a service. You can build on industry standard open technology, so you can use technologies such as OData, the Open Broker Service API, you can rely on APIs following the Open API specification, and much more. And you can consume out-of-the-box services of SAP Cloud Platform. So many of those services you might already know by using them in the Cloud Foundry environment. And here's some good news. Currently, SAP is working to make all those Cloud Platform services available on all of the environments. So in the future, it will not matter anymore which environment you choose, because all the Cloud Platform services are consumable on each of the environments. There are already some services that are consumable today on Kyma and ABAP, and there will be more services available in the future. We also have the SAP Cloud Platform Neo environment. However, it is not fitted for cloud native development, and when building applications on Neo, it is more difficult to make them scalable and elastic. Therefore, the Neo environment is not recommended for building industry cloud solutions on SAP Cloud Platform. After showing which environments can be used, I would like to also outline some technologies, or let's rather say evolutions in SAP that have or will matter for Industry Cloud in the future. Here, I would like to start with the Cloud Application Programming Model, short CAP. The SAP Cloud Application Programming Model is a consistent end-to-end programming model that includes languages, libraries, and APIs tailored for full stack development on SAP Cloud Platform. The Cloud Application Programming Model helps you to decapsulate your business logic from the underlying technologies, and it helps to adapt to new emerging platform technologies and thus safeguard your investments. So by using the Cloud Application Programming Model, you really spend less time dealing with the technical things like the technologies and technical disciplines, and you can spend more time on actually writing your business logic and thus safeguard your investments. The next evolution is the one domain model, and this is really important. The one domain model unifies business objects, attributes, and semantics into one single data model. It will be adopted by all SAP products. So if you use this model in your Industry Cloud solution, you will be able to make use of the SAP Cloud Platform Master Data Integration Service and SAP Graph. And with Graph, we come to the next evolution. It's also called the API of the Intelligent Enterprise. The SAP Graph software exposes business objects that follow the one domain model. So it can be used as a RESTful service to navigate and access data regardless of where the data resides. So once it's available, you can use SAP Graph to unify your data access to one single interface. And this will significantly simplify the way how you access the data and also how you manage the data. So going into these technologies in detail would take a lot of time and be each a session of its own. However, TechEd this year offers sessions for each one of them. So there is the Dev 103 for the Cloud Application Program Model, the IIS 120 for the one domain model, and the IIS 118 for SAP Graph, including the master data integration. I can really recommend them. So finally, let's take a first bird's-eye view of how an Industry Cloud solution can look like on SAP Cloud Platform. So here in this big picture, let's start at the top, where you have the user, or you could say the customer. The user accesses your application by using a device such as a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop computer. And the front end that the user is accessing is ideally following the SAP Fiori UX guidelines. It can be developed by using the Cloud Application Programming Model, but SAP also highly recommends the SAP UI5 language libraries. There are new players on the market like Angular, React, Vue.js, but UI5 really focuses on consistency and, most important, and that's what our customers also demand, enterprise support. So we can really recommend it. Secondly, the backend. Here, thanks to the 3 different environments you can choose, you can also pick your own language. But recommended is Node.js and Java, and Python for machine learning, and of course ABAP in case you choose the ABAP environment on SAP Cloud Platform. Here, you can build a backend as a single instance that is able to scale, but you can also detach some functionality and have a more microservice style based architecture. So in this example, it shows a microservice that has a machine learning use case, which makes use of the machine learning foundation service. And you can go even one step further. You can also write your own reusable service using the Open Service Broker API. So let's say you have not only one Industry Cloud solution, but several solutions that you want to develop. And each of those solutions require a very specific same part of functionality. So specific that SAP Cloud Platform is not offering a service for that. In that case, you can take out that functionality from one of your Industry Cloud solutions. You can deploy it separately as application, and by following the Open Service Broker API, you can basically provision it as a service inside your Cloud Platform account. After you have done that, you can reuse this service in all of your industry cloud solutions. And this will significantly help make your development more efficient and also increase the quality of your industry cloud applications. The next thing is connectivity. Here we have two ways. Of course, we can go to the right and we can connect to other cloud systems from SAP, partners, and even third-party cloud solutions. But most important, we also want to make sure that we are able to connect to the on-premise world. And here, the Cloud Connector continues to be the foundation for integration suite solutions to securely connect on-premise SAP and non-SAP systems with the cloud very easily. And last but not least, and I think this is one of the most important things when building industry cloud solutions, it's the services that are provided by SAP Cloud Platform. Therefore, I want to outline a few of them. Let's start with the identity authentication service. Using that service, it helps your users to authenticate securely. And you can also use it as a proxy to use your or your customer's corporate identity provider. Use API management. Let the service handle API requirements such as managing different API versions, retrieving API analytics, API protection, metering, and many more features. Interesting to know, SAP Graph is built on top of API management. When it comes to data, you should make use of SAP HANA Cloud to store and access data really fast. And you can make use of the HANA Data Lake for a very cost-effective storage of large datasets. Also, the Workflow Management Service will help you to create and manage workflows and business rules of your industry cloud solution. It helps you to achieve one single inbox and make business processes visible. A service that I can also highly recommend is the data privacy integration. So when we talk about an intelligent enterprise, it's all about the data and making use of data and do analysis on this data. But for you and your customers, it's more important first to know what you are actually allowed to store, what kind of data you're allowed to store, and what kind of data you're allowed to process. So you need to be compliant and follow regulations. And for that, we highly recommend to use the data privacy integration service. It comes with a business context manager, a data retention manager, and a personal data manager at a very low cost point. So this will really help you to unlock more potential for the intelligent enterprise. And there are even more services. So for example, the open connectors for third-party cloud integration. You can use master data integration, and once it's available, SAP Graph for a better and easier integration. You can use Dynatrace to really have a detailed analytical view, for example, of your Java applications. And there are even cloud platform services available that help you operating your industry cloud solution. So for example, you can use the alert notification service that you always get notified and alerted if something is going not as planned with your application. So this really helps you to react fast and make sure your application is running smoothly. Now, talking about each of those topics can really fill a session of its own. And that's why we decided to create a new guide, especially for building industry cloud solutions. And this guide is released today, here at TechEd. All you need to do is to access help.sap.com and search for Industry Cloud Architecture and Development Guide. In this guide, you can get all the details on how to build your industry cloud solution from SAP. And this guide has much more technical details and concrete recommendations for building your solutions, such as more information on what it means to build a cloud-native solution and follow common cloud qualities, recommendations on front-end development, information about our runtime environments, recommendations on the integration, including consuming and building APIs, usage metering, and also non-technical topics such as compliance and commercializing your product with the help of SAP, and more. So don't forget to check this guide regularly in the next months. As new products and services evolve and are available, we will update this guide accordingly and also extend it with more best practices over time. And as mentioned before, you have the chance to also check out related SAP TechEd sessions that will matter when building your industry cloud solution. So there are 2 sessions about programming models. Dev 103 will talk about the cloud application programming model, and Dev 102 talk about the ABAP RESTful application programming model. Then 2 sessions that I can highly recommend is IIS 120, which will talk about the one domain model, including master data integration, and IIS 118, which will give you a very deep dive into SAP Graph. And last but not least, you should also stay up to date. So definitely check out Dev 800, the roadmap of SAP Cloud Platform's integration suite, and Dev 802, a roadmap what's new for SAP Cloud Platform. Aside from that, I can also recommend to check out some public websites that will have an impact on industry cloud. So most of all, you should definitely read the SAP's integration strategy for the cloud. Then there's a very good blog post about the one domain model and domain-driven design in general. Last but not least, you should check out the SAP Graph website. It includes an API sandbox, so you can directly try out SAP Graph today on this website and see how easy it is to use. Furthermore, you can continue your learning experience from SAP TechEd by using the SAP Learning Hub. With that, you get unlimited access to all of our content, always up to date, and over 3,000 titles in multiple languages. You also get unlimited access to instructor-led SAP learning rooms. You can get this and more for one single 12-month subscription fee that is even lower than the costs of attending one single 3-day classroom course. So, this was the session about industry cloud solutions on SAP Cloud Platform. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And most important, after this session, please don't forget to take a look at the architecture and development guide for industry cloud solutions on help.sap.com. That said, I hope you enjoy the rest of TechEd. Have a good day, and most important, stay healthy. Thank you.